What's going on, everybody? It's Brandon, and welcome back to another episode of Murata Media. And I am so excited to do this review today because, well, one, I got a new camera. If you couldn't tell by that beautiful quality jump. I mean, look at it. Doesn't it just look gorgeous? And two, what better movie to review on a brand new camera than one of my most anticipated movies of the year, Joker. This has been a pretty polarizing movie, to say the least. It's getting really good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but if you ask me, its critic score is a little bit too low. So is Joker one of the best movies of the year, or is it one of the worst? Well, let's find out. Joker tells the story of a man named Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix. Arthur is kind of what you would consider an outcast and a loner in society. He has dreams of being a stand-up comedian, and when his dreams don't exactly pan out and society continues to push him down, he reaches his breaking point and slowly devolves into the Joker. So let's just get the obvious stuff out of the way first. Joaquin Phoenix, oh my god, he is unbelievable in this movie. All the hype that I was hearing about his performance was absolutely correct. Do I think he deserves all the Oscar hype for his performance? Yeah, I would say he absolutely does deserve a nomination. But I don't think he was as good as Heath Ledger, but they're both completely different interpretations of the Joker, and they're both great in their own right. But Phoenix absolutely shines here. I felt very uncomfortable whenever he was on screen, and a big proponent of that was his weight loss. Arthur is an incredibly skinny character, and you could tell that Phoenix lost a pretty decent amount of weight for this role. But it's not just that, he gives off this very creepy and unsettling vibe whenever he's on screen, especially when he laughs. His Joker laugh is perfect. The cinematography here is also pretty fantastic. I was really surprised how well shot this movie was. There are several smooth slider shots that happen throughout the movie. And there's one in particular when Arthur is in a comedy club watching this comedian do his act and he's taking notes for his own act. And the camera begins on the other side of the room and it slowly just starts to creep towards Arthur, who's on the far side of the room. It was so smooth and seamless, and I just loved how it looked. But easily, this movie's biggest strength is its script. I wouldn't say this movie is slow in a bad way. It just starts off slowly and then it just builds up from there. And when I say it builds up, it builds up. This movie gets pretty intense. And this movie contains several moments that I honestly did not see coming. I'm not necessarily sure if I would call them twists because they don't completely do a 180 on you. I mean, some of my friends who I saw it with said that they saw these things coming, but I, on the other hand, did not, and I loved that it had that element of surprise. But the thing that the script does best here is Arthur himself as a character, because you could tell right off the bat that Arthur truly does have this genuine goodness inside his heart. But he is human, and every human has a breaking point. And that is easily the biggest criticism I heard whenever I read something about Joker. People were saying that it just glorifies him and glorifies the violence that happens and glorifies his descent into madness. And it really doesn't. I did not once think that the script here painted Arthur in this sympathetic light. I mean, at the beginning, when he's still this loner, you root for him to stand up for himself, but you don't want him to take it to the extreme. And when he finally does reach that breaking point and stands up for himself, you don't want him to go down that road. You want him to find the goodness that he had in his heart before this happened. But instead, he is slowly taken over by the darkness that society has put inside of him. And one of the catalysts for this movie's conflict is its commentary on the divide between classes, specifically rich and poor. It's not really a spoiler, and I mean, it's sort of in the trailers, but Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, is running for mayor of the city. And Arthur feels that because of Wayne's rich background, he doesn't quite understand the less fortunate of the city like himself. And it's the exact same people who are in the elite class who push Arthur around and treat him as if he's nothing but garbage. So if there was any real way to interpret Joker, I personally interpreted it more as a cautionary tale. Because like I said, Arthur has taken a lot and he can only take so much before he finally snaps. And you truly don't know how someone will react to that. Because truly, all it takes is one bad day. Which is the overarching theme to The Killing Joke, the comic book that delves deeper into why the Joker became the Joker. And I love that they kept the inspiration from that comic in this movie because it's just so good. But what I felt that this movie was trying to say was how society sometimes will go completely out of their way to ignore someone who they deem as expendable or useless. And when they don't notice those people and constantly kick them while they're down, then those people will go to the ends of the earth to be noticed. But overall, I feel that the message was kind of positive in a way. I mean, yes, the movie is dark. Yes, it's gritty. Yes, it's disturbing and unsettling. But I feel that it kind of makes you think about the problems in society today. Why do we go out of our way to ignore people who we just don't want to acknowledge? It just makes you wonder if some people in society will just take a step back and look at themselves in the mirror. So for me, it seemed like a pretty simple message of just don't be an asshole to people. Because literally something as simple as, hey, how's your day going, can go a long way. There's a video from Vanity Fair where the director Todd Phillips breaks down a few of the scenes in the movie, and he said that the city is so tall around Arthur and it's meant to give him this sense of entrapment, almost as if the city and all of its inhabitants are the ones who are keeping him enclosed in his own mind. And it really does give you this sense of enclosure and isolation, because everywhere you look there's pretty much just buildings all over. The scene when Arthur finally becomes Joker and he's dancing on the stairs, the sun is just beating down on him, and it kind of represents this freedom that Arthur finally feels, that he's not under Gotham's thumb. So even though Arthur went to the absolute extremes to find who he was, he finally did find who he was. And I'm not enabling or encouraging any of the actions that he took in the movie, because I don't think violence is the answer. And that's why I felt that the movie didn't really glorify Arthur in a way, because even though he felt this sense of freedom, you feel sorry for him that he was finally pushed to the brink of madness and he became the person that he was. If there was anything that I had to complain about in this movie, is that there were just a few scenes that I felt could have been shortened. They kind of just dragged on a little longer than they needed to, but it wasn't all bad. And I'm not sure if this was the movie itself or if it was me, but some of my friends said this exact same thing. This movie is only 2 hours long, but by the time it was over, we felt that like 3-4 hours had passed. It felt like so much more time had passed while we were watching, so I'm not sure if that's a knock on the movie for feeling longer than it actually was, or if we were just enjoying ourselves so much to the point that it felt like more time had passed. But in the end, guys, I really dug Joker. It was just about everything I wanted it to be and more. It was very entertaining. I was never bored. Joaquin Phoenix was unbelievable. The script was great. Beautiful cinematography, and also marvelous direction from Todd Phillips. I really can't believe this movie was directed by the same guy who directed the Hangover trilogy. It was dark, gritty, unsettling, and it just felt very real. I also love the fact that this movie was its own standalone movie and you don't need to anticipate any sequels or any cinematic universe coming after it. And that doesn't bother me at all, because I will without a doubt be watching this movie again and without a doubt be purchasing it on Blu-ray once it's released. And overall, I would give Joker a 9 out of 10. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching my review of Joker. If you guys saw it, what did you think about it? Did you love it like most people? Did you hate it like a lot of people did as well? If you like this review, then be sure to slap that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe too. If you want to check out my other reviews, I'll link those right here. And other than that, I hope you all have a tremendous rest of your day, and I will see you all next time.